Hello. Now, you're probably thinking, oh my god, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know. I'm incredibly bored, like always, and I just kind of wanted to make a cool video, you know, like a cool, like, boring video. But this is not going to be that boring because I'm going to be talking about my favorite films of all time. Yeah, that's right. I love movies just like everyone else in the entire world, but I think I have this emotional connection with films. I don't know, it's something special. So that's why I want to be a script writer. None of that made any sense, but the only reason why I really love films is because they're just like, I don't know, they're just an escape. But not only that, it's, in my opinion, the most beautiful, you know, form of art today. So yeah, I wrote down all my favorite films. Not all of them, because I have like 700 of them, but I wrote how many? I wrote 8 of them, so that's fine, right? I mean, we can definitely get through these in like a few minutes, or, you know, not as long. Yeah, I'm not going in any particular order, but the first one I'm going to be mentioning is like my all-time favorite, and then after that is just like, you know, other ones that I love equally, you know. So let's get started. Hey myself. First movie that I'm going to be talking about is Lost in Translation. If you know me well, you know that I love this movie with all my heart and soul because, in my honest opinion, it is Sofia Coppola's best work. Because it's just so goddamn beautiful, you know, like you watch the movie and you're just transcended into like this different world, and I feel like that's so fucking difficult to do when you're a director. Like, I don't know, like I feel like it's just a really big struggle to kind of establish that emotion in like an audience member. So when I first watched Lost in Translation, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And this film actually made me want to become a scriptwriter in my freshman year of high school. So pretty exciting stuff. If you don't know what Lost in Translation is, it's pretty much about 2 different people. Bob Harris, who's like a washed up actor, and Charlotte, who is a Yale graduate but has recently been married, and they're both in Japan for their different reasons. Bob is in Japan because he has to endorse a whiskey brand for $2 million, and Charlotte is in Japan as well because of her husband's job. So throughout the entire film, you see them kind of go through their own struggles, and you see them feel really isolated in this new country, but also by their own internal problems. And I feel like, I don't know, it's just so, like, the entire movie is just beautiful, and they form like an unlikely connection, and it's just, wow. I don't know, like, I love the use of silence because there's a lot of shots that are in this film that are silent, and it's just kind of accentuates the kind of isolation that these characters go through. And also, I love the color palette. Sofia Coppola always has amazing color palettes, but in this movie in particular, she has like really good, I don't know, she has taste. Ooh. It's kind of like washed out colors, more like, I'd say like light blue and pink and kind of like white, and it's very pretty. So if you are a sucker for aesthetically pleasing movies like me, watch Lost in Translation. It's very beautiful and I love it a lot. So yeah. Next movie I'm going to be talking about is Spider-Man Far From Home. Okay, so if you don't know me, I love the MCU. You know, I love Marvel movies. They're fucking amazing. But this movie just, oh my god. I always look forward to, you know, Spider-Man movies because, especially with the ones that Tom Holland has been in, they always come out during the summer, and they're kind of marketed to be like cute, like action-packed, like fun, like summer films, and I feel like this one in particular, Far From Home, is just like perfect in that sense. So this movie, it kind of like shows the events after Endgame and after the blip, which is pretty much when Thanos wiped out half the universe and then people disintegrated, and then you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying? So Peter Parker, he has to deal with the loss of Tony Stark, and he also just wants to be normal again. So he goes on this trip to Europe with all of his friends and his schoolmates. And all of a sudden, there is like an outbreak of these elemental kind of creatures. And so Spider-Man befriends Mysterio, and then, yeah, that's all I'm gonna tell you, because I swear to God, if I spoil even one thing from that movie, people are going to get mad. I don't know, I just love this movie in particular because it's just, I don't know, it's just like the perfect like summer movie that you can like watch with your friends and you can just like kind of like chill out to and stuff like that. And also it just like honestly portrays teenage behavior like so much, and I feel like I related to a lot of parts in the movie because of the awkwardness and, you know, the kind of like cringiness that happens in like teenage relationships as well. So I definitely recommend watching this movie because it's so cute, but it's also really fun and you're gonna be in it for a treat. So watch it for Tom Holland and Zendaya. The next movie I'm gonna be talking about is Her. The reason why I'm like looking down here is because I have the movies. If I could talk about this movie for like ever, I would. It's honestly so beautiful. I'm gonna say that for legitimately every single movie that I talk about in this video, but Her is just, wow. Spike Jonze really hit it home with this one. The movie is pretty much about a introverted kind of lonely guy named Theodore, and in the society that he lives in, which is like a futuristic kind of California, they use artificial intelligence a lot in their daily lives. So he actually installs an AI that is kind of like, I guess, like a companion or like a helper that kind of like helps you in your daily life. And her name is Samantha. And as they both kind of get closer to each other, they both fall in love, and then everything just starts to kind of crumble in a bit of a way. I feel like this movie is just... Hello. My sister walked in, being the rude bitch she is. No, I'm just kidding. She's awesome. What I was trying to say is that this film is really unique, and it's pretty much because, you know, when I first saw it, I was like, wow, you know, it's so fascinating to think that people can fall in love with like inanimate sort of beings, and it's just, like, it kind of like shows that love can like take many forms. And I just thought that it was really interesting. And not only that, but the soundtrack is just, oh my god, it is amazing. I love the song On the Beach. That song I listen to like almost every single day. But overall, it's really beautiful. I definitely recommend you seeing it if you want to, you know, just cry a lot. Because I definitely cried at the end, so pretty cool. Okay, next up is 500 Days of Summer. Oh my god, this is like on every single Tumblr girl's film list. I know. And I'm one of them too. So, yeah. The first time that I watched this film was when I was 12 years old, and I was like, oh my god, let's watch this film. I don't know why, I just picked it up from Target and I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch it. So I watched it for the first time and I was like, oh my god, it was perfect. And I just love Zooey Deschanel, and I also really, really love Joseph Gordon-Levitt because they're just so perfect. they're just so perfect. Basically, this film is about Tom and Summer. Tom is like a hopeless romantic who kind of thinks that he won't be happy until he finds the one and the only person for him. And Summer, on the other hand, is kind of like the complete opposite, and she doesn't really believe that love is a real concept, and she kind of just wants to live her life. So when Tom and Summer meet for the first time, you know, feelings kind of spark up and everything's kind of there. But throughout the film, you see, you know, the ups and downs of the relationship, and it kind of like spans over these 500 days, and it goes from the happy days to the sad days. And I feel like it perfectly, honestly, like it perfectly portrays like the ups and downs of a relationship and how people can fall in and out of love. And I feel like it's so important to see that sometimes, because I feel like, because, you know, in movies you're always used to like having the happy ending and the two main characters just fall in love and they live happily ever after. But this movie, it kind of even states in the beginning that this isn't a love story, and it just, I don't know, it blew me away when I first saw it, and it still blows me away every single time I see it. So definitely recommend watching it. I love the writing in this film is just perfect. Like, I don't know why, but just like the dialogue is perfectly balanced, and I feel like the character development is extremely beautiful. So I definitely recommend seeing it if you're a hopeless romantic like me. And yeah. The next movie is Leon the Professional. I watched it in sophomore year and I literally died. I don't know, it's just like, I love Natalie Portman. Like, seriously, like, she is an angel that was sent from heaven. I'm not even kidding. Not only that, but she's also an incredible actress. So I watched this film and I just got chills. You know, I love Luc Besson, you know, I love his work, but definitely this film in particular is like his best film ever. It's pretty much about a guy named Leon, and he has this reputation to kind of like uphold, and he's very closed off. And then he meets Matilda, who is an 11-year-old girl, and she, you know, she comes from an abusive family and a troubled past, but all of a sudden, all of her family gets shot and they all die. And she pretty much just has to go to Leon because she has no other choice. And throughout the entire movie, it kind of just shows like the relationship between Leon and Matilda and how they kind of have like this, I guess, like mentor and mentee kind of relationship, but also like a father-daughter relationship. I feel like there's a lot of controversy in this film, in particular, because a lot of people think that it's a romantic relationship, but I don't think it is. I think it's because that Matilda has never really had like love and support from her mother and father, that she looks at Leon like a fatherly figure, and that's why she kind of is confused. But this film is just quite amazing. I love just, I don't know, I love the soundtrack, but I also love the cinematography. Like, this is just a movie that you watch when you kind of just want to escape and you want to kind of get lost in these characters, because these characters are super complicated, and throughout the film you really get to see like their flaws, and I don't know, I just love it a lot. Next one I'm going to be talking about Like Crazy. This film is like, holy shit, it's like everything that I want in a movie and more. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I know that some people might watch it and they're probably going to be like, oh my god, there's nothing extraordinary in it, there's no like special effects, there's no like explosions, there's no, I don't know, like very extravagant scenes. But that's the thing that I love about this movie, is that it's so simplistic and it's very realistic as well, that, I don't know, you look at it and you're like, wow, that's beautiful. This movie is about Jacob and Anna, and they both met because they both go to the same college, and they just slowly start to fall in love. But all of a sudden, Anna's green card actually expires, so she has to go back to London, where she's from. And throughout the film, you really get to see like how a long distance relationship can kind of affect, you know, the love that you have for the other person. And again, it's kind of like 5 Days of Summer, except the ending is devastating. I mean, obviously, like, I have never felt really empty by an ending of a movie before until I saw this movie. It's beautiful. The soundtrack, I know I keep saying this for every single film I talk about, but the soundtrack for this film is really beautiful. I actually have most of it downloaded on my phone because it's like the type of songs that you listen to in the car, like when it's raining outside and you're kind of just like, oh, just want to chill out and dissociate. Or like, I don't know, you are like really sad, you just want to lay in your bed and listen to those songs. But I love Felicity Jones. She's amazing in this film, and I definitely recommend seeing it if you want to see a different perspective kind of on a romantic movie, and I love it so much. So yeah, next movie is this is one of the most cliche movies that are like in every single person's film list, but it's Call Me By Your Name. We all know why we love Call Me By Your Name, because of Timothée Chalamet. Oh my god. So, if you've been living under a rock, Call Me By Your Name is about this precocious 17-year-old named Elio, and every year his father like has like an international student stay at their house for 6 weeks in order for him to get help from them on his kind of studies and his work. And all of a sudden Oliver shows up. Ellie and Oliver start to get infatuated with each other, and it's just a fleeting romance, honestly. It's like, I don't know how to describe the feelings that I get when I watch this movie, because it's so incredibly fascinating. Like, the whole movie can be placed in an art museum because it's that beautiful. And like, I love Luca Guadagnino's direction with this film. I mean, honestly, it's just like gorgeous. Like, every single shot of this film can be like printed out and they can be like hanged up in a museum. You know what I mean? I also just really love the dynamic between Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer, because it's just so beautiful. It's so emotional. Like, the connection that they have is so deeply rooted, and I feel like, you know, throughout the movie you can really see, you know, the kind of confusion that both of them have towards each other, but also the love, you know, like the harbored kind of feelings towards each other. And I was like sobbing like crazy after I saw this movie, because I was like, I'm never gonna have this. But it's really beautiful. The soundtrack is killer because Sufjan Stevens wrote 2 songs for this film, and oh my god, Mystery of Love is like my all-time favorite mental breakdown song. So it's beautiful, you know, like the whole film is beautiful. I definitely recommend seeing it if you love artistic films, if you love again, getting lost in characters, because I feel like this movie is just really appropriate for that. So yeah. And the last movie that made me talk about, yay, you don't have to listen to my fucking annoying voice anymore, is Lady Bird. What a great movie to end off with. Lady Bird is just a masterpiece. And I love A24 films, but this movie in particular is my favorite A24 film, because it's so relatable, but it's also very beautiful. You know what I mean? So this movie centers around a high school senior named Lady Bird, but her real name is Christine, but she goes by Lady Bird, and she kind of goes through the ups and downs of high school, and also deal with her kind of troubled relationship with her mom. And it just, I don't know, like, I feel like whenever I watch the scenes with Lady Bird and her mom, I'm like, oh my god, I can relate because my mom and I have been in those similar situations too. Because when I first watched this film, I actually watched it with my mom, and I don't know, like honestly, like we both related to the film a lot, because this movie just shows tough love in a very real way, and I feel like Saoirse Ronan's just amazing in itself, and Greta Gerwig is an amazing director, and I feel like she really just kind of captured the essence of being, you know, a teenager about to go to college and kind of dealing with confusing parts of life, but also, you know, going through this journey of finding out who you really are. And I feel like it's so important to kind of, you know, have that connection with the characters. So that's why I love Lady Bird, and it's great. I'm sorry there's construction. It's been going on for a week. But with that being said, that's it, guys. That's the whole video. I know this is going to be really boring to watch, but don't worry, because I will have better videos out in the future. So yeah, I'm gonna go to bed because I'm tired. So I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. So yeah, peace.